Jack Harmon gripped the controls of his fighter as warning lights flashed across the cockpit. His ship shook violently, systems failing after taking a direct hit from enemy fire. Mayday, Mayday. This is Lieutenant Harmon. I'm hit and going down on Nexus 9. Coordinates unknown. Request immediate extraction. Only static answered. The comms were dead. Jack's fighter spun through the alien atmosphere, trailing smoke and debris. The planet's surface rushed toward him, a vast landscape of strange forests and massive dome-like structures. He fought the controls, trying to level out. "Come on, you piece of junk." The ground came up fast. Jack braced for impact as his fighter slammed into the dense forest. Metal tore. Glass shattered. Pain shot through his body as his harness cut into his chest. The world went black for seconds, then returned in a blur of smoke and sparks. Jack coughed, tasting blood. He checked his oxygen levels. The cabin was leaking. The air on Nexus 9 was toxic to humans. He grabbed his emergency suit and helmet from under the seat and put them on with shaking hands. 30 minutes of air, he muttered, reading the gauge. Great. He kicked open the damaged cockpit and climbed out. His leg burned with pain, probably broken. The forest around him was unlike anything on Earth. Massive trees with purple bark reached hundreds of feet high. The ground was covered in a spongy, pulsing material. Jack limped away from the crash, checking his emergency beacon. Dead. He was on his own. A sound like rustling leaves came from behind him. Jack turned, drawing his sidearm. Nothing there. He continued forward, the hairs on his neck standing up. The forest opened to reveal a clearing. Jack froze. Before him stood enormous structures like termite mounds, but 1,000 times bigger. They rose from the ground like skyscrapers, connected by arching bridges. "What the hell is this place?" he whispered. His oxygen alarm beeped. 20 minutes left. Movement caught his eye. Shapes emerged from the ground, insect-like creatures the size of large dogs. Their exoskeletons gleamed in the dim light. Multiple eyes focused on Jack. He fired his weapon. The creatures scattered, then regrouped. More appeared from hidden tunnels. "Stay back!" Jack shouted, firing again. Something stung his neck. Jack slapped at it, a dart. His vision blurred. The creatures surrounded him, chittering in a language he couldn't understand. Jack tried to run, but his legs gave out. The creatures grabbed him with surprising strength, dragging him toward an opening in the nearest hive structure. "Let me go," he yelled, struggling weakly. They pulled him down into darkness through tunnels that descended deep underground. His oxygen alarm blared. 10 minutes left. The tunnel opened into a massive chamber. Thousands of the insect creatures lined the walls, watching. In the center, on a raised platform, lay a much larger being. Clearly their leader. The Queen. She was dying. Jack could see it in the way her body trembled, in the dull glow of her eyes. The creatures forced Jack to kneel before her. The Queen's eyes locked with his. Jack felt a presence in his mind. Alien, but somehow gentle. "What do you want from me?" Jack asked. The Queen reached out with a trembling limb and touched his forehead. Pain exploded through Jack's body. It felt like fire in his veins, like his DNA was being rewritten. He screamed as images flooded his mind. The history of these people, their struggles, their fears. The Queen was giving him something, changing him. "Stop," he begged. The Queen's eyes dimmed. Her limb fell away. She was dead. Jack collapsed to the ground, his body convulsing. The oxygen alarm faded from his awareness. His skin burned. His bones ached. Something was happening to him. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was thousands of alien eyes watching, waiting. And somehow, impossibly, he understood what they were thinking. They were calling him Protector. 6 months had passed since Jack crashed on Nexus 9. He stood at the edge of the Hive's outer defense wall, watching the horizon. His body had changed. He was stronger now, faster. The Queen's gift had transformed him in ways he still didn't fully understand. "They're coming," Jack said to Crix, the warrior commander beside him. Crix's antennae twitched. "How many?" "At least 50 Vex, moving fast through the Western Valley." Jack had learned much in his time with the Nexians. The Hive wasn't just a colony, it was a civilization, and they were at war with the Vex, predatory creatures that hunted Nexian young for food. "Sound the alarm," Jack ordered. Crick struck a resonating crystal, sending vibrations through the Hive. Warriors emerged from tunnels carrying weapons Jack had helped design, spears with metal tips salvaged from his crashed fighter. "Remember the formation," Jack called out. "Tight shield wall. Don't let them break through." The Nexians moved into position. Jack had taught them human military tactics, combining them with the Nexians' natural strengths. They trusted him now. Most of them anyway. The Vex appeared over the ridge, six-legged predators with razor-sharp claws and armored hides. They charged toward the Hive, shrieking. "Hold!" Jack shouted. "Wait for my signal!" The Vex drew closer. Jack could smell their acidic stench. "Now!" The front line of Nexian warriors thrust their spears forward. The Vex crashed against them. Some fell, impaled, others broke through. Jack leaped into action, his enhanced strength letting him tackle a Vex to the ground. He drove his knife, fashioned from his fighter's metal, into the creature's eye. It died with a screech. The battle raged. Jack moved through the chaos, directing warriors, killing Vex. His human combat training combined with his new abilities made him deadly. A scream came from inside the Hive. Jack turned. A group of Vex had broken through a side entrance. "Crix, hold the line here," Jack shouted, running toward the breach. Inside the Hive, 3 Vex were heading toward the nursery chambers. Jack sprinted after them, his heart pounding. The young queen was there, only 3 months old, still vulnerable. Jack caught the first Vex from behind, snapping its neck with a quick twist. The second turned to face him, slashing with its claws. Jack dodged, then drove his knife up under its jaw. The third Vex had reached the nursery door. Jack threw his knife, hitting the creature in the back. It stumbled but kept going. Jack tackled it just as it broke through the door. They tumbled into the chamber where the young queen rested in her growth pool. The Vex threw Jack off. He hit the wall hard. The creature turned toward the queen, who couldn't yet defend herself. "No!" Jack yelled. He grabbed a broken piece of crystal from the floor and lunged forward, driving it into the Vex's throat. The creature collapsed, twitching. Jack stood, breathing hard. The young queen's eyes met his. Unlike the others of her kind, she was pale blue, almost translucent. She reached out with her mind, touching his. "Thank you, Protector," her thoughts said in his head. Later, in the council chamber, the Hive elders gathered. Many still distrusted Jack. "He changes our ways," Elder Zex complained. "He is not Nexian." "He saved the queen," Crix argued. "The old queen chose him." Jack stood silent, letting them debate. He had earned his place through blood and loyalty, but some would never accept him. A young warrior burst into the chamber. "Protector, something in the sky." Jack followed him outside. Looking up, he saw lights breaking through the clouds, the unmistakable shapes of human dropships entering the atmosphere. His old life had found him, and it was coming in force. Human dropships landed 3 miles from the Hive. Jack watched from a ridge as soldiers in combat gear established a perimeter. Their weapons were pointed outward, ready for trouble. "They're setting up a base," Jack told Crix. "At least 200 troops." "Will they attack us?" Crix's mandibles clicked nervously. "I don't know, but I need to talk to them." Jack had spent months becoming part of the Hive, but seeing humans again stirred something in him. Memories of Earth, of who he used to be. "The Queen wants to see you," a messenger chittered, approaching them. In the Queen's chamber, the young ruler floated in her nutrient bath. Though not fully grown, her mind was powerful. Jack felt her presence touch his thoughts. "They are your kind," she said in his mind. "Will you go to them?" "Yes. I might be able to stop a war before it starts." "Be careful, Protector. There is danger." Jack nodded. He gathered supplies and left at dawn, wearing a mix of his old flight suit and Nexian armor. The journey took hours. When he reached the edge of the human camp, snipers spotted him. "Halt! Identify yourself!" A voice called over a loudspeaker. Jack raised his hands. "Lieutenant Jack Harmon, Earth Defense Force. I crashed here 6 months ago." Soldiers surrounded him, weapons aimed at his chest. They looked at him with suspicion and fear. Jack knew why. His eyes had changed color, his skin had a slight blue tint. The Queen's gift had marked him. They escorted him through the camp to a command tent. Inside stood Colonel Frank Winters, Jack's former commander. His face showed shock, then disgust. "Harmon, what happened to you?" "I survived, sir. I've been living with the native species." Winters circled him, studying the changes. "You look like one of them. They saved my life. They're intelligent, peaceful, and less attacked. We can make an alliance." "Alliance?" Winters laughed. "We're not here for alliances. We're here for the mineral deposits. This planet is worth trillions." Jack felt cold dread. "Sir, there are thousands of Nexians. This is their home." "Nexians? You named the bugs?" Winters shook his head. "They're obstacles, Harmon. Nothing more. I won't let you harm them." Winters' face hardened. "You've gone native, son. Maybe worse." He nodded to the guards. "Take him to containment. Full medical exam." They grabbed Jack. He could have fought. His new strength would have let him kill them all. But these were humans. His people. In a sealed medical unit, doctors took samples of his blood. They muttered about contamination and genetic changes. Jack heard snippets of their conversations. "Colonel wants the Hive locations. Bombing run scheduled for tomorrow. Extermination protocol." Jack pulled against his restraints. "You can't do this, they're sentient beings." A doctor approached with a syringe. "This will help you relax." As the needle pierced his skin, Jack felt the Queen reach for him across the distance. Her mental touch was urgent, frightened. "Protect her. The Vex attack in great numbers. Too many." Then she showed him something that made his blood freeze. The Vex weren't natural predators. In her ancestral memories passed down from the old Queen, he saw the truth. Humans in labs creating the Vex, releasing them on Nexus 9 years ago. "Bioweapons," Jack whispered. "You made them to weaken the Nexians." The doctor stepped back, surprised. "How could you know that?" The drug spread through Jack's system, making his vision blur. But something else was happening too. His skin began to ripple. The restraints suddenly felt looser. "What's happening to him?" someone shouted. Jack felt his body changing, responding to the threat. The Queen's final gift was awakening. The restraints snapped. Alarms blared. Jack rose from the table, his form shifting, growing. The doctors backed away in terror. Jack burst through the medical unit wall, his body now 7 feet tall with hardened blue skin. Guards fired at him. The bullets hit but didn't penetrate. He knocked them aside and ran into the night. His mind raced with the Queen's warning. The Vex were attacking the Hive in massive numbers. He had to get back. Jack moved through the forest faster than any human could, leaping over obstacles. His new form was powerful, a perfect blend of human and Nexian. He understood now what the dying Queen had done. She had made him the protector, a role as old as the Hive itself. He reached the Hive at dawn. The scene was chaos. Hundreds of Vex swarmed the outer walls. Nexian warriors fought bravely but were being overwhelmed. "Crix!" Jack shouted, spotting the commander. Crix turned, his eyes widening at Jack's transformation. "Protector, the Queen is in danger." Jack fought his way through the battle, crushing Vex with his bare hands. He reached the inner chambers where a group of warriors made a last stand before the Queen's chamber. "The humans sent them," Jack told them. "The Vex are their weapons." Inside the chamber, the young Queen was completing her metamorphosis. Her body glowed with energy as she prepared to reach her full power. 3 Vex had broken through, moving toward her vulnerable form. Jack attacked with fury, tearing the first Vex apart. The second slashed his chest, drawing blue-tinged blood. Jack grabbed it and snapped its spine. The third leaped onto the Queen's cocoon. "No!" Jack lunged forward, pulling the creature away. The Vex bit into his shoulder. Pain shot through him, but Jack didn't let go. He slammed the Vex against the wall until it stopped moving. "My Queen," Jack said, approaching her glowing form. "I'm here." Her voice filled his mind. "The humans come. I feel their weapons." Jack looked up as a high-pitched sound cut through the air. He knew that sound. Orbital strike incoming. Everyone to the deep chambers, he shouted. Nexians rushed to obey, carrying eggs and young. Jack lifted the queen's cocoon carefully. They descended through tunnels to the lowest level of the hive, a massive cavern deep underground. The ground shook as bombs hit the surface. Dust fell from the ceiling. They're trying to kill everything, Jack said grimly. A scout rushed in. Protector, human soldiers have entered the upper tunnels. They carry a large device. Jack knew what it was, a biological weapon designed to wipe out the entire hive species. Colonel Winters was taking no chances. Protect the queen, Jack ordered. I'll stop them. He raced back up through the tunnels following the sounds of human voices. He found them in the main chamber, a squad of soldiers setting up a device the size of a small car. That's far enough, Jack said, stepping into view. The soldiers turned, raising their weapons. Among them stood Colonel Winters. Harmon? Winters stared in shock. What have you become? I've become what was needed, Jack replied. Turn that device off. Winters shook his head. Can't do that, son. This planet is too valuable. The bugs have to go. They're not bugs. They're people. With history, culture, families. They're aliens, Winters spat. And now so are you. He nodded to his men. Activate it. One soldier pressed a button. The device hummed to life, glowing green. No, Jack charged forward. The soldiers fired. This time, their bullets were different. Armor-piercing rounds that cut through Jack's skin. Pain exploded through his body, but he kept moving. He reached the device as it began releasing a green mist. The bioweapon was designed to target Nexian DNA, but now Jack shared that DNA. Jack wrapped his arms around the device, feeling the poison enter his lungs. He had one chance. With the last of his strength, he lifted the device and pressed it against his chest. His body began to absorb the weapon, drawing it in. The pain was unbearable. What are you doing? Winters shouted. Saving them, Jack gasped. His body convulsed as the weapon's full payload entered him. The soldiers backed away in horror as Jack's skin turned black, his veins glowing green. He fell to his knees, the empty device clattering to the floor. You're too late, Jack whispered as darkness took him. 3 days later, deep in the hive, a cocoon pulsed with life. Inside, Jack's body was changing once more. The cocoon split open. Jack emerged, his body transformed again. His skin shimmered with a metallic blue sheen. His eyes glowed with inner light. But most striking was his mind, filled with memories that weren't his own. He remembered other humans who had become protectors. Dozens of them across thousands of years, each chosen by a dying queen, each transformed to defend the hive. He lives, Crick said, kneeling beside the broken cocoon. Jack stood, testing his new body. How long? 3 days. The humans have surrounded the hive. The queen has reached her full form. Jack followed Crix through tunnels to a new chamber. There, on a throne of crystal, sat the queen. She was magnificent now, twice Jack's size, her exoskeleton gleaming like polished armor. Protector, she said, her voice now audible as well as mental. You have returned. I understand now, Jack said. This has happened before. The cycle. Yes, humans come. A protector rises. The hive survives. Jack nodded. But this time is different. They have more weapons, more soldiers. And we have you, the queen replied, with the knowledge of all protectors before you. Winters spun around, reaching for his gun. He froze when he saw Jack's transformed appearance. What are you? I'm what humans and Nexians can become together, Jack said. This war is pointless. You don't understand what's at stake, Winters snarled. Earth needs this planet. I understand more than you think. Jack stepped closer. I know the truth. Earth has known about the Nexians for centuries. You created the Vex to weaken them. You fear what humans might become if we join with them. Winters's face showed shock. How could you know that? I have the memories of every protector before me. This cycle has played out many times. Around them, Nexian warriors emerged from hiding, surrounding the human soldiers. Tell your men to stand down, Jack said. No one else needs to die. Winters laughed bitterly. You think I'm in charge? I have orders. This planet gets cleansed no matter what. He pulled out a remote. Orbital strike incoming. Nothing will survive. Jack moved faster than human eyes could follow. He grabbed Winters' arm, crushing the remote. What are you? Winters gasped. Jack looked closer at the colonel. Something was wrong with his eyes. They had a yellow tint. His veins showed through his skin, pulsing unnaturally. You're part Vex, Jack realized. They've been experimenting on you too. We adapt, Winters growled, his voice changing. Humans will evolve their way, not yours. He attacked, his fingers extending into claws. Jack blocked the strike and punched through Winters' chest. The colonel fell, his body twitching, transforming further in death. Jack turned to the human soldiers. Your commander was compromised. I'm broadcasting the truth to all of you. He activated a communication device, sending images directly to the neural implants all soldiers carried. They saw the history, the cycle, the lies they'd been told. Many lowered their weapons. Some didn't. Fighting broke out across the battlefield. Human against human. Vex against Nexian. Jack moved through the chaos, protecting those who chose peace. The Queen activated the planetary defense system, ancient technology buried deep beneath the Hive. Energy shields rose around the main Hive structures. When it was over, Jack stood beside the Queen as the survivors gathered. Humans who had chosen to stay. Nexians who had fought for their home. What happens now? Asked a human soldier. Jack looked at the Queen. We build something new. Together. Months later, Jack watched as the first human-Nexian hybrid children played in the new settlement. They were beautiful, the best of both species. The Queen joined him. You are troubled, Protector? Jack nodded. The memories show me something. The real reason this cycle exists. He looked up at the stars. Something is coming. Something worse than anything we've faced. Then we will be ready, the Queen said. Together. Jack nodded, his eyes on the distant stars where an ancient enemy waited, moving closer with each passing day.